You know that feeling when you know something is meant to come through you, but you don't quite know what it looks like yet? That's what this video is about. It's how I went from a somewhat loose idea to one of the most aligned creations to date in my business. And you can also apply this to other areas of your life. So even if you don't have an online business, or maybe it's something you want to do down the road, stick around. I promise it's going to be worth it. What's up, guys? Kim Doyle here. All right, I'm really excited about this. Today's video is when the vision isn't clear yet. We're going to talk about the unclear beginning. So we're going to go back to October of 2024. I had moved back to Costa Rica. I stayed for a hot minute, a whole month, and I'm going to do a video, I promise, on my experiences both times in Costa Rica. But I decided last October to launch Women, Wisdom, and Wealth, which is my second newsletter. I've got The Spark, which has always been through kimdoyle.com and originally was F the Hustle, in case you didn't know that little bit of information. And I decided I wanted to launch this because I wanted to focus on the psychological, mental mindset, the brain side of money with women. And not only the brain, because I really believe in the heart and brain coherence. That is a Dr. Joe Dispenza term, but they work together. You can't necessarily separate them. So I knew I'd been wanting to dive into this and dig deeper. And with a mentor, we were talking and came up with Women, Wisdom, and Wealth. And I didn't know what I was going to do with it, truly, at the beginning. I just knew I'm going to start the newsletter and I'm going to build an audience and I'm going to find out what works, what doesn't, shift segments of the newsletter. And I'm still shifting and evolving as I learn and develop more in that space. And so I just had this deep desire to talk about money when it comes to women, but not in the here's how you should invest, here's how to lower your debt. There's tons of amazing women that do that really well already. That's not my forte. I have a bit of an aversion to spreadsheets, so we'll leave that there. But I knew there was something there for me to explore and go deeper with, and I could serve women, particularly women who have an online business or are thinking about doing it, and they know that if they can nail this money mindset, then there's a way that they can scale, grow, or really create a business that works for them on their terms. So here's the tension I felt, though. I still love marketing, and I've been in this content marketing sort of web design space. That was years ago. I do stuff for clients now and then, but I've been in this space for 17 years. That's where I had an audience. That's where I started podcasting. I didn't want to give that up. And so without any sort of exact plan, I jumped in and I simply started writing. I was committed to it, and I'm now, I think this week, actually, at the time of recording, will be my 30th issue, which means I've published the newsletter for 30 weeks in a row. My Spark newsletter, where am I at? 280? I've been doing that. It'll be 5 years this fall. Never missed an issue. Yes, I'm patting myself on the back. I just knew what I wanted to feel, and I didn't know what I wanted to build. So the point in that is it's really important just to start and be okay with practicing in public. Which brings me to the trust practice, committing to show up each week. So newsletters was the first part. The second piece was YouTube, which I didn't relaunch until a few weeks ago at the time of this recording. And I was okay with that. I knew it was coming. I knew I had sort of a plan that I wanted to share everything that I was exploring and writing and creating things about. I wanted to share some life experience, maybe talk about having lived abroad, thinking about maybe moving abroad again. Life, midlife, you hit midlife and things look different. We grow and evolve. So I knew I wanted to do this, and I trusted that process too. I have a good friend that we decided, look, we'll hold each other accountable. We're both Gen X, same age demographic. And so the goal was to launch in January, and we both waited until end of March. Life happens, and it takes what it takes. We knew we were committed. We kept checking in, and we decided to just keep moving forward. That being said, so now I'm publishing to newsletters. I've got The Spark and I've got Women, Wisdom, and Wealth, and I publish content in between. In the meantime, I still have my kimdoyle.com site, which is all marketing, digital content related topics. And I still believe in having my own web property. I just wasn't sure what I wanted to do with that. And again, I just kind of let it sit. I took a bunch of stuff out of the navigation and knew I didn't want to delete a ton of content, but wasn't sure what I wanted to do, as well as not knowing what SEO looks like. It's not going away. I know that. At the same time, I don't know what I want to rank for. I don't know what direction I'm going. So I let it sit, and that's okay. And so I've really let the brand evolve through consistent presence. And I'm going to say practice, because even though I've been writing and doing this a long time, you have to a certain extent, be willing to publish and have nobody respond. You have to be willing to show up. I get clarity through the doing. So as much as I would love to have everything dialed before I even write or record or do anything, it doesn't happen that way. It's through the process and through the doing that I get the clarity I need to create something that lights me up. And so this wasn't any sort of a launch. It really was a listening practice. Here's where the magic happened, is that the publishing became the feedback loop that clarified the direction. I had created an account on Substack a few years ago and really couldn't see what the point was besides my own website. It's an organic traffic machine. And we'll just leave that, because I have another video that I can link to in the bottom that talks about why I went to Substack. So there was a process for me to figure out the nuances and what worked and what didn't work, and how and why I decided to integrate it with Kit to still use an email marketing service platform. And the key moments that really sparked deeper clarity for me were in the conversations with people I know, creating new relationships, and finding there is this, I don't want to say mini army, but holy moly, is there a movement of midlife women uprising and standing up and using their voices and sort of entering this next chapter. And it is so amazing to be able to connect with all these women. And not just midlife women. I'm connecting with lots of other people. But I trusted the process of starting on Substack without I didn't sign up for a Substack course. I didn't create some massive action plan. I just said, look, I'm going to take the publishing that I already do consistently. I'm going to do it here. All right, which brings me to, drum roll please, the reveal. This is sort of a big reveal, sort of, because I've created something called the Business Within. It's not launching for a few months, but it was through taking two things that I love and am passionate about, and knowing that there was an integration. Think of a Venn diagram. So you've got Women, Wisdom, and Wealth, you've got the Spark, and then now we've got the Business Within. And where do they overlap? And what does that look like? And I am beside myself excited about this. I had no idea what this was going to look like. So I'll kind of do a behind the scenes buildup of what that's going to look like. I'll do screen sharing. I'll show you the different projects that are going into this. You're going to see the whole thing. And I'm looking at an August launch. At the time of this recording, it is end of April, and that gives me enough runway. I can produce stuff pretty quickly, but I want to enjoy every single step of this journey. That's the wisdom, I think, that comes with age, too. Most people who know me would not say I'm a very patient person. That has come with enjoying slowing down and learning to just be in the moment. Here's what I learned. Clarity truly is a byproduct of showing up. And where I've always said you get clarity through the doing, in some ways, there's a little bit of that productivity push there, that you have to do the work in order to get clarity. Instead, what if you just decided to show up? What if you said, look, I'm going to do what's right in front of me today. I'm going to write a note on Substack. I'm going to start writing in my own voice. What if you did that? And then the byproduct is that you start getting clearer every single time you do that. It's so much easier than this undue external pressure that productivity culture has pushed on us. And the truth is, when I trust that that inner knowing, that voice inside of me, actually produce things a lot quicker because I'm not under the gun to get something done. Here's a great line for you, and that is that you cannot strategize your way into soul alignment. You can only create your way there. So be easy about it. This is supposed to be fun. My high school quote in my yearbook, my senior year in high school was, "Success is not the destination, but the quality of the journey." I had a little bit of wisdom back then before I even knew. I mean, what I do for a living didn't exist when I was in high school. The internet, as we know it, didn't exist. Your vision is often waiting for you to evolve it. You don't have to have it right the second you start or before you begin. Course correct. You'll have a path and be willing to take a detour or pause or pull into a rest stop. Okay, I won't go too sideways. I'm going to start getting crazy with the road analogies there. But I really didn't find the vision. The vision found me. And it's because I kept walking. I kept moving forward. All of this to say that if you're in that messy middle, keep going. Actually, it's sort of a messy, magical middle, isn't it? When you learn to trust it and kind of observe what's happening for you in your own life, in your business. I found a level of discipline in me that has surprised even myself. As much as I'm a structured, disciplined person, I work Monday through Friday, I come to my desk. I have flexibility in my day, of course, I work for myself. But this level of trust has created something I couldn't have even imagined. You don't have to have it all figured out to start. When the vision isn't clear, create anyway. That's all I've got for you guys today. As always, thanks so much for watching. And of course, if you've not subscribed, that would mean the world to me. Go ahead, subscribe, comment, like, and all the links to everything I've mentioned will be in the show notes below. And I will catch you next time.